Welcome back. Yet more pickups. You're probably sick of them, but anyway, we'll press on. This, as the title suggests, is a Nintendo special. Few different bits, some decent stuff, I think. Again, this is from months and months ago, up to more recent times, but you know, we're trying to catch up. This for GameCube to start with. I'm done with the GameCube now. This is the last one I wanted, and I've bought Darius the Giant. Bit of a quirky game. Obviously, it's a Fortune PAL, which I would have preferred the PAL one purely for the language. There's no American version, I seem to remember. Pretty sure there's no American version. But the PAL one's like 80 quid, or it was at the time I bought this anyway. And this one's like, I don't know, 15 quid, something like that. I did have a disc only of this, just to sort of see how playable the Japanese one was. You can kind of play it. It's good enough for the amount of times I'm going to play it anyway. I was just curious. It is a weird kind of God game. Not my cup of tea, but this one piqued my interest. It was a bit of a curiosity. It's alright really, for what it is. You know, I don't mind playing it for 10 minutes. You go around walking around, like raising and lowering land to help the locals out. It's kind of weird, but pleased to have it. Right, N64 now we've got. Now I'm almost done with the 64. I'm almost done with most things, to be honest. My collecting journey is coming to an end, without doubt. Much like Dave has said recently, I'm not far away. I'm not saying I'm going to stop buying stuff, because obviously I'm not going to, am I? But in terms of my lists of games I want, I'm 99% there. I will be there this year. There's one more N64 I need now after this one, to upgrade a cart only to a boxed. But we've got here anyway, Star Fox. I did have the big box version of this back in the day, because when it first came out in Japan, it was packaged with a rumble pack, because the rumble pack was launched for this game, and it came in a larger box. Same styling, but just with this inside it and a rumble pack. I haven't got the space to display that, so I'm quite happy with just the game. I've obviously got a spare, a loose rumble pack. Again, it's not a game I'm going to play a great deal, but it's kind of an iconic game. And I know it's well regarded, but it's kind of always been a SNES game to me, this. I've never bothered with it since. But that said, I'm pleased to have it in the collection. Again, I haven't played that for whenever it came out in the 90s. Right, we'll do Famicom now. Love the Famicom. I think the Famicom is one of the areas where I'll keep buying games, because the library is so massive. I'll continually find out about games I'm currently not aware of. The library is huge in Japan, and it's really cheap, so it's amazing to collect for. And I love the cartridges, because they're all the different colours, all the different cart designs. It's much like the Atari in that sense. Anyway, first up we've got Road Fighter. I only collect these carts only. Now this is a Konami cartridge, much like the MSX carts. Now I did a video on this when I first got this. This is a class game, really is. I did have an MSX years ago, briefly, and I only ever had 3 cartridges for it, and one of them was Road Fighter. So I'd remembered that, and when I found out it was on the Famicom, I had to get it. It was great on the MSX, and at the time I knew nothing about the MSX. I bought it in a bundle, and I sort of turned it on and played the 3 games I'd got, and thought, wow, this is an amazing computer. If I'd known about this in the 80s, it would have been incredible. Obviously it was much bigger in Japan. Anyway, this is a class vertical overhead racer, much in the style of Action Fighter on the Master System, but this absolutely pisses on it from great height in my opinion. This is absolute class, love it. Next up, now this I found out about this through getting the Atari version. I think that's the route it went. I got the Atari one. I'd never played it before, enjoyed it, and found out it was on the Famicom. Obviously it's got to be better, had to get it, and that's Puan. Now this is an original arcade conversion, and it's a Konami arcade game, single screen. Again, a fantastic little game. You've got a character on the one side of the screen, and you've got to shoot these guys who are descending in balloons before they reach the bottom, because if they reach the bottom they'll climb the tower you're on and sort of kill you. Absolute class, and a great version on the Famicom. You can get that on archives on modern consoles if you want to play the arcade one. Next up, I had this back in the day, Highway Star, and I'd had the American one since. It wasn't called Highway Star outside of Japan. It was called Rad Racer. So I'm sure a lot of people had Rad Racer, but for whatever reason I changed the name. So I had to get this back because I sold all my American carts just to get Famicom carts only. Unfortunately there are one or two that weren't released in Japan for whatever reason, but thankfully Rad Racer was. Cracking sort of 80s for the time. I mean, it was as good as a racer could be, kind of like Outrun I suppose, but a great little game, Highway Star or Rad Racer. Next up, I think these are all arcade, because I tried to find out all the arcade conversions that were ported to the Famicom, and I've tried, sort of made a list, and I'm working my way through it and trying to get all the arcade conversions. So we've got another one. We've got Ghosts and Goblins, or Mamura, I think is the Japanese name. I mean, fantastic game, balls hard, but fantastic game. Had to get it. So yeah, that's Mamura. Then next up, this, I don't think I played this before until I bought this. I played the updated one on the Saturn, but there's obviously an original, Elevator Action. Again, another arcade game, Taito this time. And somebody recommended, I think it was Alex, Nintendo Arcade or whatever, Alex anyway. He recommended the original one to me. I'm sure it was him. Months and months ago. Could have been a year ago, I don't know. Anyway, finally got it, and this is, yes, I agree, a cracking game. I don't know if I'm not sure I like it as much as Elevator Action Returns on the Saturn, but it's a mighty fine game, I've got to say. Great, both of them great games. Then next up, much in the same mould, we'll show these two together actually. I've got Dig Dug 1 and 2, obviously a Namco arcade game. Dig Dug 2 is like a console only sequel, I believe, but it would be rude not to have both, wouldn't it, really? Never played much of Dig Dug, I must be honest, and I've played it quite well, more than I've ever played it in the last 12 months, because it's on one of the one-ups, and I really quite like it. It's a good game, so had to get it in the Famicom collection. And then the last Famicom game we've got is, I kind of dropped a bollock with this one, because I bought Hyper Olympics, track and field, if you like, This is another Konami cart. I do like these Konami carts. They've got like the orange label on the top. It was kind of their colour back in the 80s, wasn't it? Like the Spectrum games have got orange on them. And like I say, the MSX ones were like this, and the Famicom. I kind of like that. It's nice. And generally, I mean, Konami, they were all like class games generally. This is the kind of thing you could easily get sucked down the hole of collecting all the Konami carts. You know, they are quite nice. Anyway, I'm digressing. Yeah, I bought this. Obviously, Track and Field, fantastic game. But then, when it came, tried it. The controls weren't working. I thought, what's going on here? I couldn't understand it. I'm scratching my head. And then anyway, I eventually found out that you can't use controllers, like standard controllers with this. It had specific controllers in Japan to play it. So then I had to hunt them down, of course. And luckily, we managed to get some, which I've not actually tried yet. But these are super cool. It's kind of replicating the arcade game, I suppose, in many ways. As you can see, it's like a joint two-player controller. But you've basically got a run and a jump, just like the arcade. But the buttons, they're like, especially the run button. It's like, I don't know if you can. It's like weirdly sprung. It like bounces back. It's really funky. And these are in lovely condition. So hopefully I'll now be able to play that with these. Like I say, I've not had time to try them, but they are cool as hell, I've got to say. And I think there's another Track and Field game, Hyper Olympics something 2, is it, or something? But we're gonna have to get that as well. Right, we'll finish off with some sexy Super Famicom. As I've said before, I'm trying to upgrade all my cart onlys to complete in box. Doing quite well. There are a few, I think, which I'm not going to be able to upgrade because I'm not paying the money. But we're not doing too badly. First up, anyway, we've got Hat Trick Hero. Now, I'm not a football guy, or football game guy, I should say, except an arcade football title, which this is. Used to think this was amazing back in the 90s. Such a cool side-on arcade football game. So I had to upgrade, and obviously it's cheap because it's football. It's not as good as it used to be, let's be honest, but it's still a decent game, this. If you like arcade football, you can go a lot, sort of, you could buy a lot worse than this. It's called Super Soccer Champ in America. I don't think it got a PAL version. Right, next up we've got a classic, Adventure Island, which is obviously a reskin of Wonder Boy. It's a beautiful box, this, and it's a lovely orange colour as well. I mean, I'd still prefer to play Wonder Boy, but this is still great. There's at least, is there 3 of these, I think, so they get progressively more expensive, I think. So I'm chuffed to have that. I wouldn't say no to the others, but it's not something I'm chasing, to be honest. If they crop up one day, they do. If they don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Then next up, another orange box actually. We've got Darius Twin. Obviously, Darius is on most things. Horizontal shooter. I mean, the Mega Drive's regarded better for shooters, isn't it? But I think the SNES is pretty good, to be honest. There's some really great ones on the Super Nintendo. Right. Next up, we've got another great box here. and it's pink. Winner, chicken dinner. Super Bomberman. Amazing game. I mean, this is just as good now as it was 30 years ago. I can remember having the big box American one when it came out. I don't know if it was American first, but I certainly had the American one first. It came in a massive box with a multi-tap. I've subsequently bought the American cart only. So I've obviously sold that now. I've bought this Japanese complete in box one. I mean, the artwork on that, just absolutely stunning. I mean, there's 5 or 6 of these in Japan, but to be honest, they're all more or less the same, aren't they? I've got the first one and the second one. That's enough for me. Awesome game. Right, next up, we've got another shooter and another one I've upgraded. In fact, I think I've upgraded all of these. I had Adventure Island complete, but American. All the others were upgrades from cart only. And this is another one. R-Type, or Super R-Type. Again, I had the American cart only, I think. So, nice to get the Japanese one boxed. Contrary to popular opinion, everybody seems to love R-Type. I've never liked it much, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just never thought it was that great. But it's obviously me, because everybody else loves it. At some point, I'll give it another bash. But I'm chuffed to have it anyway. I won't be buying R-Type 3 because that's a fortune, obviously. Right, next up, 2 to go. I don't think I've got this. This is like I've bought this like it's not an upgrade. I've never seen the Japanese version of this before. So I saw this and I thought it's a good game. I've got to buy that. I think I did have the Mega Drive one or the Genesis one, and then I sold that when I got this. Anyway, I've got the Japanese NBA Jam. Like I say, I don't ever remember seeing this. I've no idea if it's rare or I just never saw it. But anyway, when I saw this, I thought, gotta have it. It's obviously another one of these arcade sports games. I mean, I couldn't care less about sports games, but an arcade one, yes please. This is another belter, obviously. Everybody's played NBA Jam. Hate basketball generally, but this is a class game. I know it's Time Warp James's favourite. So I'm chuffed to have that, really. And then the last one, this is another upgrade. And I think I had this Jap loose from memory. It's another class game. Quite common, but it's a great game. And chuffed to get Batman Returns in the box. I don't think you can beat Streets of Rage 2. That's the best beat 'em up, scrolling beat 'em up ever made, and always will be. But this is really good. I've got to say, this is as good as it got on the SNES, in my opinion. And it is. I think it is a nice box. I like that kind of. It's almost cel shaded in it. The artwork, really nice. Where the PAL one was more like a still of the film, wasn't it? Kind of like real actors, like. It is nice. So, chuffed to bits to get that. Batman Returns. And that's a few more upgraded. And that'll do for today, I think. Like I said, I've kept that all Nintendo. I don't know what I'll do next. I think it'll be a mixture next pickups. Might do another one next week. Not sure. Trying to get through. But let me know what you think on any of that lot. Good to hear your thoughts. appreciate the comments. That's what it's all about, as I've said before. But let me know. Thanks for watching, and see you soon, all being well. Sayonara.